Dear Twilight fans, thank you for helping us look sane and well-adjusted. Love, Trekkies.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Jupiter at Night, the internet's geekiest talk show, where we wander our way through things like sci-fi, movies, video games, sometimes Captain America, other things like that.
Yes.
And we just chat about it with your internet friends, and my name is Chris.
I'm John.
You forgot? I'm Jeremy.
No. Yeah, and joining us on the Skype.
I'm
there's
Heather.
Hey there, Heather.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for being our fourth host today.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, really, this show is being shot on the eve of the Captain America movie.
I'm going
Right.
to the midnight showing after we tape this.
Should I tell my, what do you guys think? Do you guys want me to
Go
tell?
ahead, why not?
Do you want me to tell my ball
Sure.
story?
Yep.
Heather, you're
Can
the
you make it not graphic, though?
You're the resident female,
Yeah.
so I'll let you opt out. You want
Need to
you
hear
can
this
be
again?
show. But so I might not be going because I'm recovering from a botched vasectomy.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's-
really, I think for the internet, that's all you got to say.
Yeah, I think that's probably enough.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
But if you ever want
Let
to hear
people
more-
draw their own conclusions.
Yeah. I put some details on my Google Plus page, but
And starting next week, we're going to start calling him Christina.
yeah,
And once the beard falls
it was
out.
botched. Let's just say balls of steel. You couldn't put this racehorse in the back in the barn.
You know when they try and give like Superman a shot or something like that? It just doesn't really work.
Yeah, well, I said, Doc, make sure
Right.
the blade is kryptonite laced.
Right, right.
The blade. Now, okay. So because we haven't seen Captain America, I thought, let's just go ahead and dedicate...
Pretend we have and give a fake review.
Well, let's dedicate our watch-along segment next week to Captain America.
Really?
Okay, that'll force us to
What are
see
we
it. Why not?
watching?
We're going to watch Captain America.
That makes everybody have to go.
okay.
and then the
Alright.
audience can watch Captain America.
Now the problem with that is we'd spoil it for everybody who doesn't see it.
Well, we always shoot the watch-along segments at the end of the show so people can tune out and
Okay.
come back when they watch
Fair
it.
That's
enough.
truth.
So,
True.
but before we get to this week's watch-along segment, which was Blade Runner: The Final Cut, we're going to cover a little bit of video game news and some comic news because you know Comiccon's kicking off.
It actually started today.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like
Yes, it
preview
did.
night, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
Anything big come out of that yet? I haven't been seeing anything.
there?
haven't been following it yet.
I
Old
don't think I-
Republic Collector's Edition went pre-ordered, sold out.
Yeah.
Wow.
They talked about Game of Thrones Season 2, which you might care about.
I did have a link.
I do care about that.
Somewhere there's some blog where it's just like, here's a link to something cool at Comic-Con. Here's a link to something cool. Here's a link to something. It's like really good of just like
Right.
parsing the cool stuff. Right now it's all kind of early days, but I think I agree with Heather. I think
you think we might be able to find that at the end of the show and throw it in our show
I'll
notes?
try. Yeah, I'll try.
Why not?
Because
Okay.
it was a pretty good link to follow along.
I like those sites.
Yeah.
So now
It makes my life easy.
I know. Before we get to that, why don't we talk a little bit of video games?
Okay.
What's up?
I got a game here. At least I know one guy on the panel's pretty sweet about, and that's the old GoldenEye.
Oh man, classic GoldenEye was it for me. I mean, I spent a lot of time classic GoldenEye. I got
Now-
decent
Back in high
at it.
school.
Yeah, back in
So
high school.
This was high school and
No, it wasn't. For me, I guess I didn't have my own Nintendo 64 until college.
Okay. It was
So,
college. All right.
yeah,
Oh,
it was
that's right.
college
It
for
was
me.
Mario Kart in high school.
Nice. I honestly didn't get into GoldenEye until later because I didn't have an N64 for a long time.
I had a really cool Kuwaiti roommate who was loaded.
oh yeah, he was like a prince.
yeah,
for
yeah,
real.
I tried my best not to take it. I really didn't take advantage of him, but he's like, here's $1,000, but you have. He literally said, but you have to buy a Nintendo 64. I said,
my
done.
gosh.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ow, my
And,
arm. All
And
twisted.
yeah, he twisted my arm. He was huge gamer, and so I did that, and then I just got locked
Am I
in
the only
GoldenEye.
one then that's never owned a Nintendo then? I've never owned any Nintendo.
Really,
Aw.
Wow.
Any Nintendo product of any type.
man.
Not even like a game, like
Not
a
a Game
handheld?
Boy,
Not
not-
a.
I've got
I get
a
the-
wallet with a Nintendo controller on it, but
Aw. I
That's
got
the
my
closest
brother's
I think I've
hand.
ever
Well, that makes you a
up
poser
Nintendo.
then.
I gotta
was a
say,
Sega boy.
J-Man, I kind of feel like you've missed out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I used to go over to friends' houses all the
Okay,
time.
okay.
and play 'em.
Yeah, you were
I'm
always
like
on my
pretty good
computer.
at-
You were always on my
I
stuff.
know.
The
How many
3D.
hours did I spend on Mario Paint in your basement?
Seriously, this guy. Although I also have memories of like trolling like AOL like
Yeah.
stuff with him too.
Yeah,
Chat rooms,
I
romance chat rooms.
I really thought, even just in recent terms, like the little DS, fantastic little console.
Yeah,
really it is.
absolutely.
And
I'd love to have one.
Yeah. So
I just don't.
So GoldenEye.
this is GoldenEye, but what's interesting about it is it's GoldenEye. Now, you remember we got a GoldenEye refresh recently for the Wii.
Yeah, which was not reviewed well.
No.
People did not like it.
Now, this one, though, is for the 3-Sizzle. And
Yes.
But it's sort of a port off of the Wii, isn't it?
Is it?
It is a port of the Wii version, but now this is weird, though. Can you call this a port? Like, listen to this vernacular. Let me see if I can find it.
Ooh, big word.
It says that it is
I like the sound
built
effects.
on a brand new engine and
Okay.
will run
Yeah.
60 frames per second. So it's built on a brand new engine. So is that a port?
Not unless that's an engine
it's-
that can use all the same art assets.
You know,
but
if
then you'd wanna
it's
update the
like
art
visually,
style.
maybe not, but like it sounds like everything else is pretty much the same, right?
It
Yeah,
does,
it's
but
with that new game, which
they,
is
they
Yeah.
have some new missions. They're adding like brand new MI6 ops missions, which are going to be objective-based levels, and they're going to have a legendary story campaign mode.
Maybe this is just a port in the fact that the content's the same.
the new
but
one.
all the mechanics had to be rebuilt and the graphics had to
It
rebuilt.
seems
No.
like you would have to take advantage of this so much. What we got to believe is just extremely superior graphics capability.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, just the screenshot looks great.
Well, that was one of the complaints about the Wii port was that it still looked like the N64.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now,
it
is-
was terrible.
I mean, if it was like the old 64 game, like just upgraded graphics,
Or just
then
emulated.
that would be awesome.
Yeah,
I kind of agree.
I would be fine with that.
would be
It's going to be
totally
hard for me not to buy it, regardless of reviews. I love that game so much.
Especially if they deliver it, and I don't know yet, if they deliver it like over Xbox Live, where it's just an arcade downloadable title, so you don't even have to go get the disc.
Oh,
That's-
yeah.
Now that was the thing about that though is I have such. This is true with a lot of games. Like, I was better than everyone I knew at that game, but I was not playing people on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
That's
such a
different
difference.
yeah.
You know how when you go online and you just get rolled like in a game like
Oh, yeah.
StarCraft?
One that you thought you were good at.
I talked to a
You're
guy
like,
who's
I'm awesome at this game. Then you go online, you're like,
Yeah.
I don't like this game anymore.
This game's stupid
This
and
isn't
it's cheated
fun
for
anymore.
stupid cheaters.
yeah, totally. Well, so I was talking to a guy who I don't know if you guys have heard it. The game's called Dota. You guys familiar?
Yeah.
Sounds
Defense of the
familiar.
Ancients.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I guess this guy just loves it.
Okay.
He just is a Dota fan.
And it's a big competitive game, so there are people out there. Yeah.
So they've got like a Dota clan, and they go online and they roll people. They have this strategy with they size them up and they come up when they all get on they get on Skype.
Yeah.
And they all collaborate and then they like, right, you go this way, you go this way, and then we just smash them. And it's like 2 or 3 different teams, and they all so they get one guy on their team, and the rest will all be collaborating together.
Right.
And I said, he's sitting there telling me about it. He's just laughing about it and telling me how funny it is. I said, dude, you're one of those people.
You're one of those people that you hate.
That's the only reason I'm losing.
Yeah, you were one of those jerks. Yeah, I was like, I can't
I've
believe
heard
that.
so many curses at people like you.
Yeah.
I've glared
Totally.
at people like you through the internet.
Shake
That's
that
not
fist.
cool.
But
So-
it's actually kind of nice, because I mean, with other games that are similar, like not that similar, but playing like Call of Duty and stuff, you get just slaughtered when you first go on,
Yes.
but eventually you kind of pick up what you need to do, and you do become
you-
a better
you
player if
figure
you
this-
have the patience and if you don't mind dying a
Yeah,
lot.
not me. No, I just learned to die a lot
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
take it with a grain of salt. In fact, in games with ragdoll physics, I try to make my body make the best shapes. I try to get
Go
shot
through
in
and
the
try to
hand
die
so that
various letters, the alphabet.
Right, right.
Spell out
That's a nice,
words.
classy move,
What was
Mark.
that game called? Was it called Burnout on the Xbox 360, where the whole point was how spectacular could you make your crash?
Oh, that was
Oh, I
great.
love
that
game.
That's fun.
That was
It
a
was
lot
so
of
much
fun.
fun.
Yeah, and that is like right up my alley.
Actually,
Yeah.
that reminds
Yep.
me of another. I wonder if it's out for anything else. There was a game on the PS3 arcade called Pain.
Oh.
That was just based on ragdoll physics. You took a guy and put him on a giant slingshot and threw him into
hurt
this
him.
world's.
I
full
played the
of
Pain
physics
game on
objects.
Tuesday.
Oh, and you're losing.
Oh.
All
So
right, enough
fun.
about your balls.
All right, I got a rumor that we could sit here and maybe make some pontifications
Okay.
about.
All right.
Kind of wish Brian was here for this one because he's such a big Doctor Who guy. But
I've got some Who cred.
yeah, you do. And
I've got
Mars-
a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Although I don't know the Matt Smith one.
All right, okay. Now, Doctor Who's Oil Smith, which I guess he's a creative writer producer.
Ollie.
That's Ollie.
Oh, Ollie Smith, not
Yep.
Oil, because the
Oil is a
because
weird
the
name.
I comes after the L in this
Yeah,
case.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, he is moving over to a game shop that's well known for making like RPGs and things like that. And in their quote, they say he will be responsible. He'll be filling key positions in the studio's design and IP process and helping them get the best out of proprietary IPs and overseeing creative direction for licensed titles.
Okay. Well, that
Okay.
you know what? those need it like really badly, I think.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah.
But don't you think this
Right.
sounds like a Doctor Who game? Is totally.
Oh, it would be so
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
awesome. There's so much potential for that.
And you
But
get
you would have to play as the Doctor. There's no other way, or maybe as the primary companion of the Doctor.
Right.
I mean, you couldn't just be a random
Yeah.
person. Like people have been talking about trying to adapt.
I'm a
Doctor
Dalek.
Who
This is awesome.
to
how
an
would
MMO.
but you
I
can't
wonder if
just.
you could go back in time before all the Time Lords got sealed into the rift.
Best Doctor
So
Who
that you could-
RPG ever. Use every Doctor.
Cool. That'd be kind of cool.
I guess they could if they had the whole IP
You have
right.
so many
Right.
lives in the game. Each time
Yeah.
you die,
Yeah.
you become the next one.
You just,
And then
you just
and
keep
then once
upgrading
you
your
reach the final one,
screwdriver.
You're like,
I like
start
Vestige in the
over.
chat room. He says, "Who MMO equals my life is over."
But
Look how long my
saying.
sonic screwdriver is.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, I
if,
know,
if a
but
company
Yeah.
come out with a single player RPG where you play as either the Doctor or the companion, and you get to,
I could see the companion. It seems like you'd have to work your way up to Doctor status.
I don't know.
I think it'd be pretty cool. But the thing is, like, just the way Doctor Who is set up, like, if it's an RPG,
See, it
like,
could be a single
he doesn't-
player.
he's not someone who kills people, so he's a doctor.
It doesn't have to be an MMO.
No,
Right,
it wouldn't
right,
be an
right,
MMO.
right.
No.
That's what
It
I was
could be
saying
anything.
earlier. Is
It'd be a
this would
standalone.
never work as an MMO.
Yeah, it'd have to
Okay.
be a standalone player game.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Definitely
No,
sounds
it's-
promising.
And
It's
the name
just
of that
Sounds
company
really
again
cool.
was Mediatonic.
Mediatonic. Yeah.
Okay.
but it's not.
I'm
He's
always
not
so
just hired
frightened by
for.
TV movie ports, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
almost always bad.
You got that giant wall to climb.
Yes.
So that's probably what you were. That's what you were getting at earlier. Is it's good to have somebody that has that kind of
Right, who knows,
credentials.
Yeah.
who's done it and can do that is, I guess
I agree.
he'll still have to prove himself because, working in one medium is different than working in another.
Well, and I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot in the gaming industry recently, like people with outside of the gaming industry credibility are coming in and taking over.
Oh, yeah,
things.
you got, like, some actual
R.A.
directors.
Salvatore is writing books and
Yeah.
scripts for Neverwinter.
Wow.
Yeah. And-
That's kind of cool. Like I've always
Wow.
thought, imagine if Stowe could get like DC Fontana to come in and write one of their featured
exactly
episodes.
right.
yeah,
Oh,
seriously,
incredible.
seriously.
I would love to see that.
So I'm hoping that this is just a trend that keeps continuing.
Oh yeah, and well,
Yeah.
and
A Torchwood game would be awesome. That's a great point because then you could use like
then you could
gun
use
stuff more.
Yeah.
some of their freaky
that seems
Yeah.
more likely.
artifacts and everything, and yeah.
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 Jumping on now, staying in the whole game genre though.
Right.
There was an interesting panel, developer panel, asking the question. This comes from a story from GameSpot, also reported on by Slashdot at the Develop 2011 conference, where a panel of game designers got together and debated big budget releases like, say, Heavy Rain or L.A. Noire.
Right.
They asked the attendees this question because they're afraid they're making games too long. And they said, our game's
Oh.
too long. We think players are getting bored. They're tuning out. I mean, they go on here. I'll just read a little bit here. It says, gamers are losing patience. This is Alex Kennedy from Fail Better Games. I like that name. We asked about, of course, when your name is Fail Better, that it kind of sounds like you might have a bias there. He says that many people don't reach the end and so they'll lose full impact of the game. And he says, it's sort of a bastardization of the storyline where it doesn't quite work.
You know
Now,
what?
see what I think.
Go ahead, John.
Well, I think that if the games are good enough, people will stick with them for one. And it's really, I think the problem more is not that they're too long, is that there's so many games that people's
Yeah.
attention spans are short, so they just buy the next game.
I think there's a little bit of that, definitely. The worry that I would have about something like this is somebody looking for justification to sell DLC. Here's
Oh.
my
That's
train
true.
of thought is that if you make a game short, short enough so that these average casual gamers that they're talking about will
Right.
be able to play through the entire plot, then you can wrap up the rest of your content development time by making downloadable, sellable
Right, and that's a
Yeah.
good point. I think really...
Eating more money out of us.
Yeah,
I mean, the
exactly.
people who have the short attention spans, I mean, honestly, that's mostly the Wii market, really. You got the harder core, like, those are shorter games
Yeah.
in general. And then
Yeah,
you
I
have
mean,
the 360
I
and the
only
PlayStation.
have so much time to game sometimes if I'm busy with work, so then I can't play some of those full longer games.
Right.
But my husband will, so I'll tell him, just save one save game so I can watch along the story when I get a chance.
Yeah,
Right.
And you
And then you can
kinda
finish the
know.
game and I'll catch the end of the story or whatever.
Going into it, like
but
if you have a certain amount of time to play games, like say you're going to be able to have 15 minutes to play a game, maybe that's an iPad or a mobile game or
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
little mobile player.
But that's not who you're marketing games like L.A. Noire and Mass Effect.
no,
No,
I think
definitely
I
not.
think you nailed it. I think it is sending out. I think it is this
Testing the waters for
It's
download
messaging.
content. Yeah.
It's messaging. You want it shorter. We're doing
Right.
this for you. We're responding to
Right.
demand. You want it
Oh,
shorter.
yeah.
Oh, but for you hardcores, you can download it. And I think you
Right.
nailed it.
I
Because
Yeah.
DLC is a way to see major recoups in costs and it's a
True.
major way to recoup costs if your launch goes a little soft, because you can still
Yeah.
pick it up on the DLC.
And imagine, let's talk about LA Noire. Now, I think if I recall correctly, there were 7 major like stories throughout the campaign.
Okay.
Maybe more than
Okay.
that. I think
Okay.
more than that. But let's say 7. Just
Do you remember about how long you played for?
Not off the top of my head.
More
What
than
would you
about,
just guess?
about 40 hours, I think you said.
Maybe 30 to 40, yeah,
Okay.
somewhere
Okay.
in there. But I finished the game, and I also did a little bit of accolade grinding outside of that. So that it's you could probably get through the whole thing in 20.
Okay.
Oh, really?
But now
Okay.
let's say that if they release the
Oh,
game
that's
with
kinda
only
short, actually.
half that many core missions, and the core plot ended half that long. But so they could spend that other those other 3 or 4 missions, they could roll into DLCs, 1 each for $5 each.
Yeah.
That means that you would still
Yeah.
spend the same cost on the box, and then another $20
That's
to
the problem.
$30 on
See,
DLC.
they
Yeah.
wouldn't
Right.
lower the cost of the box to like $20.
No, they wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't.
No.
No.
So
I think that I do think that that's what you're doing, and I think that you're right, Chris, is that they are trying to get this message out there that that's what we want.
Yeah.
But at least for me, like, I get so much more involved in the longer stories right away, but I'm not necessarily going to pay for that download content.
I am like this
No.
with TV, and it does translate to games. For example, right now I'm slowly playing through the Back to the Future series.
Right.
If it was going to be like
You're talking about the Telltale.
yeah, the little
game.
where it's voiced by
Right.
What's his face and
Christopher Lloyd.
yeah.
Christopher Lloyd and
The
the
thing about
Krug.
the thing about the thing about that though is I know it's like 5 episodes worth of content, and that is so I'm investing in the story there. It's story.
Yeah.
It's if I
The chat room is bringing up some good points here, is that long games have been around for a very long time. Ultima, Final Fantasy.
oh sure yeah.
They used to be
yeah.
super long.
Chrono Trigger, Dragon Warrior, I think it was called.
Mm-hmm.
These games took you like decades to beat.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Even the original Zelda,
Was-
that could be beaten in a
Well, they
setting.
can be, but like if you're just playing it without, cheating, if you've never played it before,
Yeah.
it takes you a while. Metal Gear,
Yeah.
like the original Metal Gear,
Yeah.
Metroid even, which again can be completed quickly.
So I guess
Yeah.
it's safe to say that these guys are full of S. I don't think that games are too
Eh.
long. I don't think
They're trying to
anybody
decide
thinks that
what
games are too
percentage of gamers is going to play through their entire game.
What I
Right.
don't
You know,
understand.
where's the most? And try to convince them. Oh no, most of you are only playing through like 60% of it. So, if those other people can buy the extra content that they need and want.
Right.
Right. If they want an answer like that and they want to get true metrics on it, just put accolades in your
that might be how they're getting it.
Mm-hmm.
for beating the game.
There's-
Give you an achievement
Yeah.
for beating
Oh.
the game, and then they can track your achievements on the server side.
think
of
that's how they're doing
what
it, though.
percentage of
Yeah.
people.
I think that's. Oh, I know on
Right.
on live they get on if you have a game that's integrated with Xbox Live they know how far you get in the game.
Yeah.
But you got to figure that there's a lot of people like me who will pick up a game like Portal 2, play it, and then set it down, and then get to it like 6 months later and finish it.
Well,
So it really
Yes.
depends when you're capturing those
No, finish
metrics
it.
too.
There's also a whole metric of gamers out there that don't care if they finish a game.
yeah.
Yeah. They just want to
So-
pick it up, play it, put it down.
My dad would
maybe you
not
work
let me
2
get Super Mario
jobs, maybe
Brothers 2
whatever.
until I beat Super Mario
You can only
Brothers.
play it for a
You have
half hour.
to eat your
every
dinner
week.
before you can
Yeah,
get
yeah.
down. Any other thoughts on this, or should we jump over to comics?
Let's
That's about
move
it.
on.
I think it's something that's regardless, it's inevitable because it's too profitable for them not
Do you
to
still
do
have
it.
the link up over there? I'm wondering if there was anybody like because I've never heard of Fail Better Games, or there's anybody that I've actually heard of.
Oh, I do. Let's see here. It was a panel at the Develop 2000 Fail Games, and I think there was actually a big name there. Let me bring up the full article here from GameSpot, because GameSpot
Like,
actually has
was
the
there somebody
complete
from
write-up.
Rockstar in attendance? Since they're talking about
Didn't you say the
LA
mix of
Noire?
LA Noire?
There was the maker of LA Noire, but I don't remember which. Let's see who was there. The session was made up of a 5-person panel of designers and story writers, including Charles Celica or something.
Cecil, I
Cecil?
think.
Cecil, famous for writing Broken Sword.
Okay.
Adam Hahn, Chief Creative Officer, who is 6 to start. Alex Kennedy, Chief Narrative Officer at Fail Better Games.
Feel Better and Dreams and writer David Varela.
These guys are really CEO of indie developer In Dreams, Patrick O'Langeth or whatever,
don't
and
think-
writer David Valera.
I don't think these guys were unbiased in asking this. They don't seem like the types of guys that are making blockbuster interactive movie novel type video games, which
They
is what
just
they were
used-
pulling punches
Yeah.
at.
They used LA Noire and Heavy Rain as an example to hold up as to punch.
Yeah.
Do you think it's these? So was it what you guys were talking about, or was it this smaller publishers saying, these big guys can make games that are 100 plus hours and we can't. So let's make
yeah, right.
the
I think that was
gamers think
some of
that
it as
everyone
well.
should just get 20-hour ones so that we're playing on a more level playing field.
I think it was
Right.
some of that as well, Mars.
I mean, so Portal 2 is about a 20-hour game, right? Or
yeah,
maybe 15
it's not,
or so.
not a lot of content.
It's not a lot, but I was actually satisfied with that. I mean, it was
I.
done well enough. I mean, of course, maybe it's because the first one was so short, but
Right.
Well, maybe it's an indication that they're just writing bad stories because, like, watching when I didn't.
Yeah, if you're not compelled to finish, can you blame the game for it?
I think maybe you can though, because like
I
watching
mean, not the mechanics. You can blame the story.
watching you play LA Noire, like when you'd stop and be like, oh, I want to keep watching,
Even though it was like 11:30.
yeah,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
So
I've definitely been there before.
Yeah, so if the content's good, you finish it. You're
Right.
compelled.
Yeah. It's
You
like a
are
book.
compelled to finish it.
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Sometimes you're up till 4 a.m. and you're like, so sleepy.
one
Have
more
work in
chapter.
2 hours. Can't
I've-
put book.
Yes.
I've done that. I've fallen asleep trying to read the same chapter or paragraph over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read a page like 6 times. I'm like, maybe I should go to bed.
Right.
Maybe.
Maybe I've already gone to bed.
Yes, yeah. Now, should talk about comics? You
Yes,
guys ready?
yeah, we're
Okay.
ready.
Now, I don't know exactly,
But I just want to say one. No, I'm
All right.
kidding.
I don't know exactly the timing on this. I'll try to glean it from the document because I want to just talk to you guys about this idea that Marvel's doing this summer.
Okay.
And they're calling it the Season 1 launch. And they're taking a lot of classic stories like the Fantastic Four and a few other ones, and they're sort of rebooting them with new writers, new graphic design. It's kind of an original retelling of characters getting to know characters and things like that in the form of mini graphic novels.
Now, are they still going to have the
That's-
same like origins or like how?
That's a good question.
Well, and I'm wondering, when you say in the form of mini graphic novel, is this just self-contained things?
Yeah, yeah. So like the first one will be about the Fantastic Four Season 1. And then they're going to do one on X-Men Season 1, and then one on Daredevil, and then one on Spider-Man.
And this sounds like the kind of thing that would really chap Brian's hide, just because he didn't like the Star Trek reboot so much. It's
true.
Because it sounds like they can kind of play around with canon doing this.
Oh, yeah. If they stick to canon, then I like,
The only reason
researchy
that I
origin
see-
stuff. And
Yeah, I
graphic
personally like it
novels and-
too.
If they're going to
So-
retell the same stories that we already know, the only reason to get these is for the art.
Well,
So
here's
they better have some
Well,
great
there's art.
artists.
No, there's bound to be some kind of variation in it and some like slightly
But if it's
tweaked stuff.
self-contained, then who cares?
I feel like they're well.
yeah,
Here's
it's
their
over when
theory.
it's over.
Here's their theory: is it isn't actually for people who read
Oh,
the
and it
comics.
isn't actually for comic people.
Yeah, exactly. It's for people that have been like
Interested, but not.
yeah, they're phrasing with
Haven't
people
been-
who
haven't
haven't
taken the
been
dive
ready to
yet.
dip their
Yeah,
toe
yeah.
in yet, but they've been waiting for the right spot. The idea is, and this is from the article. The idea is Season 1 will be new stories that have bits and pieces of old and formative origin stuff in and around them as well. This is the Marvel Senior Vice President of Publishing, and he says that is going to focus on tales that define the characters and their relationships with each other. So maybe it's like a retelling of the core basic principles that you need to get to know in order to get some of the
Yeah.
backstory stuff with these characters.
It's like the kiddie pool of the comic water park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
really.
like training wheels on your comic.
Yeah,
on
just so
your-
you kind of
Yeah.
know what's going on,
You
so you can potentially
Come
beat
in,
other ones.
splash
I bet.
around, have some fun, and then be like, ooh, that other stuff is cool too.
And I can buy that for people that don't read comics, but for everybody else, and
No.
I just feel like it's a bit of a money grab.
I'm sure what they're really doing. I mean, sure, there's probably money grab in it, but it's a like you said, it's a waiting pool. It's training wheels to get you into the other comic books, so you don't feel like you just jumped into stuff you don't understand. You're like, okay, well, here's these people,
Yeah.
here's their relationships,
I just
here's
feel
the
like
bad guys.
I'm starting to feel like they're rebooting everybody, like every other year.
yeah.
Well, they
Well, that's what comics do. Every once in a while, they're like, oh, sales are dropping.
But
All right,
I-
under
I
you.
know
I mean,
that they've
their goal
always-
is to make money.
I know that comics have always done this, that they've always rebooted things or killed people off and give them a new series or something like that. And that's just standard for the comic world. But, comics have been around for like 70 years now. And
Whoa.
if some of your favorite characters have been rebooted 5 times, that means that's not once a year. That's once every like 15 years, you know?
Right.
I just feel like
Yeah.
it's really ramping up the pace of the amount of reboots and retellings of,
Well, I'm
that
not
we're
positive.
getting.
It is a retelling. You're right. Well, and that's
Yeah.
we're gonna get to it. Well, I'll save it for our movie trailer segment. But I agree with you, J-Man. I do agree with you. Although I will admit to some comic hesitation. I just don't really know when to jump in, and I don't know some of the backstory.
Yeah.
Although I
Yeah.
really have no interest in learning the backstory of the Fantastic Four.
Really not a fan of Fantastic Four.
I think they're trying to correct
Cosmic
that.
rays, Ken.
I think in part of this, well,
Cosmic
I
rays.
do,
Science.
I
Cosmic
do
rays.
like cosmic rays, Mars base. That's why I watch Sci-Bite. But I guess I think Marvel understands that they have a bit of an image problem with Daredevil and with Fantastic Four. They said a couple of things in their press release that said, we feel like we need to reacquaint the public with these established
Well, I can see that if they're planning on doing another movie, this makes sense too, to get people, since those movies did do.
Well, and you notice the last graphic novel that comes out is the Spider-Man one, which probably is going to time well with the movie.
And the last big news that I've heard from Marvel is them killing off the Human Torch.
Right.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, wait, what? I know the Fantastic Four, sort of. I think I remember that cartoon. You killed off one guy? What's up with
been around
that?
the longest.
And this also might be an opportunity for them to kind of try to revamp their golden era, because the Fantastic Four is old enough that their origin was a little hokey when it came out. It was basically some people that randomly ended up on a spaceship and flew through a gamma ray cloud and ended up with superpowers.
So that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so stretchy now.
I don't see a problem with that at all. That sounds really
Well, I mean,
awesome.
if you look through, comics, it's, various ages when there was a whole bunch of radiation fears, as everyone got their powers from different types of radiation. Or pollution was a problem.
People are just like hoping for bombs to go off.
And now botched vasectomies are a problem. So
Come
everybody's
on, superpowers.
Everybody's going to get their...
I should have been holding the silly putty if I went through those gamma rays.
He went in for a botched vasectomy, and now he has super junk. Yeah. That's going to be the trend for 2012.
What, super junk?
Super junk, yeah.
That's my superhero.
I want to give a shout out, just as a follow-up story, to those of you who are Trek fans out there. Trek movie has a great and updated, as new stuff is released, article about clips that are coming out for that new William Shatner thing that's...
I think we talked about this on our first relaunch for Jupiter at Night.
It's called The Captains for that Epix TV network, yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got some good exclusive clips up on there. Now, here's the good thing. Even if you don't get Epix, it sounds like they're going to be able to watch this.
I really enjoy that picture that you just showed up there, because it's Shatner and Stewart sit next to one another in some really fancy armchairs.
Yeah. Dude, Stewart wears socks, though.
Patrick Stewart's chair is so
Nimoy
much bigger.
Yeah.
Check out this crazy serious face that Patrick Stewart... so Patrick Stewart is telling William Shatner about what a goofball he is. And he gets all excited and like, oh my gosh, can you believe this? And watch this close-up shot they do of the Shat here in a second. So there's Picard, and he's telling them this ironic story about how silly he was.
And all her clothes has fallen off.
And he's like, it's just awful. I couldn't believe it. I was such an asshole. See, he's saying that right now.
Right.
And then watch this shot of... look at him go. Look at him. See how... Sorry, audio. Video. Now look at William Shatner. Uh-huh.
There he goes.
Yes.
Because he was yelling at everyone, telling him they were being
William
too silly.
Shatner has...
You can't have fun.
William Shatner has this really unique interview style, but it's uncomfortably probing and uncomfortably effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is
Is it that people are afraid he's going to, like, drag him into the Coliseum or something?
it's just this
No,
weird...
He's going to stand up and rip his shirt.
Yeah.
Don't rip your shirt off.
So this premieres on July 22nd at 8 p.m. on Epix, but I think you're also going to be able to find it online.
This isn't like a spin-off of Raw Nerve, right?
This is just a thing that's part of Epic Shatner Palooza they're doing to sort of celebrate the launch of a new cable network.
Oh.
I guess cable networks still get launched in 2011. Who knew? You figured those guys...
Is he interviewing all the captains?
Yeah, he's got...
Yes.
There's
Janeway, Sisko...
There's clips on here of Janeway. There's even of General Chang from Star Trek 6.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. And then there's one with the effing Voyager Doctor.
No, not my favorite. Not my favorite.
There's Kate Mulgrew is in here, and she talks about how amazing and talented she is, and how incredibly smart, and what a wide range of ability she has that most actresses wouldn't have. So that's literally what she talks about.
Yeah. It's like, you have to be awesome.
Of course I watched these!
You have to be smart and be able to throw everything out.
There's also a clip on here with, Scott Bakula, and he just talks about how, like, he kind of blames the failure of Enterprise on the cast.
Really?
He's like, yeah, we just never clicked. We never got it. We never had it like you guys did. So we never had the secret sauce.
Really?
Which I kind of agree with a little bit.
See that, yeah.
It's not his fault. It's the holodeck's fault.
I think Tucker...
Spoiler alert, sorry.
Him and Tucker
I
had a
just
tight
think it was
relationship.
really the problem with Enterprise was that Scott Bakula was not a good actor, and he should have admitted to that.
He's not a bad actor.
No, but he's been so much better in everything
look,
else.
you say this, but I was living with Chris
in fact,
when
he was
Enterprise
awesome
was
in
on.
Quantum Leap. Thank you, chat room. I mean, for reminding me.
Yeah.
Quantum Leap was awesome, and
You
Scott
forgot?
Bakula was awesome.
You forgot about Quantum Leap?
But Chris, watching Enterprise when it was on, because like, why won't he just get angry? Like, he was such a bad angry. It would really infuriate Chris.
Well, especially because we were watching 24
at the same time, and that's why he likes Kiefer Sutherland so much, because he gets angry really well.
He has a good angry. I mean, when you
Kiefer
believe
Sutherland
that
would make a great captain of the Enterprise.
Oh man, he would be blown.
It would be a different show.
Yeah.
It would be a way different show.
Yeah, all those aliens would be no problem in about 2 days. It'd take about 2 days.
I need some more Romulan ale.
Yeah. So it's good links to go check it out. Of course, probably what's been highlighted on this page over at Trek Movies, probably the highlight of the entire dang thing. But
Yeah.
you can go check it out. It looks pretty fun.
You know, just a quick shout out to those guys. They really know what they're doing on the Trek fan front. Trek movie.
Oh, I know, right? We've
For
met
real.
the guy that runs that.
Yeah.
Good dude. Pretty hardcore. So
Cool.
that's in our TV section of the show notes. Now, why don't we roll, Funk? Why don't we premiere this Dark Knight trailer? We got the new official Dark Knight trailer. We're gonna roll right here. And
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Right
to do this.
here.
Here, let me click this thing so it stops bouncing.
Okay, well,
The Jupiter at Night premiere.
of the new Dark Knight trailer. So audio.
We'll be
folks,
playing it every week.
audio folks, you'll get the audio of this too. But here we go.
Noises.
If you make yourself more than just a man, if you devote yourself to an ideal, then you become something else entirely. A legend, Mr. Wayne. A legend.
We were in this together. And then you were gone. None is evil rising. The Batman has to come back.
What if he doesn't exist anymore?
What if he doesn't exist anymore? Whoa.
Oh, it's a bat
Welcome.
Now look at this. Check this out. Oh wait. Oh. That. The epic conclusion. It says.
Yeah. Nolan's just gonna do 3.
Oh well. So what do you guys
Yeah.
think? A lot of old clips. A lot of clips from the
Yeah,
previous movies.
yeah, you
Yeah,
got
that-
Bane in there. Quick shot of him, and it looks like Gary Oldman's character is not doing so well.
What'd you think, Heather?
Whispery voices make you pay close attention.
Yeah.
That's a good summary.
You must
Yeah.
pay attention.
I thought
It
was
definitely has
more-
an Inception feel, though, right?
Yeah.
Like 'cause with the buildings going up like that. I don't know. It reminded me of
So
Inception.
it sounds like
too.
Batman has hung his cape up completely.
Yeah.
Like that whole
Yeah.
"you're the enemy we need" thing.
What if
took
he doesn't
to heart.
exist anymore? I thought you were Batman.
Yeah. Just get your S together and get out there, you loser. Although, is anyone else a little sick and tired of the whole "I'm a hero, I'm not a hero anymore" thing that we have to watch every
That's
time?
just how it goes.
Yeah, but that's Batman.
Well, it's probably be reality, right? If you're doing that S, you'd probably be
Like-
questioning that a lot.
I hate it when
If
people
you
hit me
doing
in the
that,
face.
You keep it a secret, your life
Yeah.
will be falling apart.
Yeah. Now, the chat room asked if we were going to play the leaked Avengers trailer. We might if we can track that down. But why don't we play the Amazing Spider-Man trailer? Because I think this is what we're going to talk about the most.
Yeah, and I have not seen this one at all. So
This is a new trailer. This is the official new Amazing Spider-Man trailer.
Exciting.
You're gonna stay with your aunt and uncle for a little while. You'll be safe here.
Where are you going?
Something your mom and I have to do.
I want to go with you.
There. We have to go.
wow, he aged fast.
Kids grow up fast.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Parker.
Not much to tell, really. Peter lives with his aunt and uncle.
I forgot all about that thing. It was your dad's.
What are you doing here? I'm nothing. Do not get me in trouble. Don't touch anything.
Web's growing out of his neck.
Peter, what's going on?
Ready to play God?
Do you have any idea what you really are?
We all have secrets. The ones we keep. And the ones that are kept from us.
What do you guys think?
I think it looks pretty good, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't think it looked good?
I
thought it looked good.
As somebody in the chat room pointed out, and it was annoying me before he pointed it out. Half of that trailer was fade to black.
Yeah, a lot of it was.
Yeah.
I also thought the running as Spider-Man looked a little CG.
Well, yeah.
I hope that doesn't make it in the movie.
Kind of wanted to scroll out to third-person mode.
Yeah, if you scroll up a bit on there, I have the Avengers trailer. Now, the Avengers trailer leaked out.
This is probably still the low quality.
It is because it premieres at the end of the Captain America movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a different one. That's not. Oh, hi, butt. Hi, that
was Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. I click the one I posted from Gizmodo there. It's a little larger. Oh, there you go. Anyways, the Spider-Man thing, he definitely, it's definitely a complete restart of Spider-Man. I mean, that's very clear from the trailer.
Yes.
The other thing that's really interesting is we now got to see a really quick shot of his manual mechanical Spider-Man.
Yeah, which is cool. I'm so glad they're doing that.
Oh yeah.
There were a lot of people who were upset about that, and it's nice because it kind of gives him, more of a weakness, really, just running out of the web cartridge.
Yeah. So do you want to take a look at this leaked Avengers trailer?
Well, that's what I want to say a few more things about Spider-Man real quick. Now I've forgotten.
Oh, that's all right.
Well, looks like Martin Sheen is Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
like,
I did not know that he was going to be playing
Me
Uncle
neither.
Ben.
And it looks like Sally Field was actually...
Aunt May?
Yeah, Aunt May. From what I saw, yeah.
Oh, was that Sally Field?
Yeah, it looked like Sally Field to me.
That was quite a cast.
I just caught a quick second of it, and then Emma Stone, who's great, I think, as Gwen Stacy.
I think it's gonna be okay. I really do. I just don't.
Well, the Gwen Stacy. I mean, that is like a classic Spider-Man story.
Did she work at the lab?
Oh yeah.
I don't mind that kind of an.
She did. She looked in this trailer.
I know she did in this, but did she ever in the comics? I wonder.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know, but I know that. I mean, it's big. I don't want to spoil it for anything, but it's
that's what I was
video
trying to
game
come
part
up with.
where he's running along. Looks like Mirror's Edge. Exactly what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. I just with the hand things, I guess kind of same. But I was thinking, BioShock, where you see your hands like going through.
Yeah.
Reminded me of that.
Cat in the Engine is confirming in the chat room that it is Sally Field that is the ant.
Ooh.
I'm curious to know, audio listeners, leave us a comment like over on the Jupiter Broadcasting show page. Are you cool with us playing these trailers? Because we kind of make this show with the intention really for audio listeners.
Right.
It's video bonus, but
right.
I know that there's cues you get to listen to too. So I figure people want to listen to it. Now the clip here we have of the Avengers one is really low quality.
Very.
But should we just go ahead and we can play like a moment of it if it looks like
it's a teaser. It's only like 20 seconds long.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. Pause it. Because you know what that is? That's the end of Captain America.
There's nothing.
It's not showing.
You told me.
Okay.
It's not showing.
All right.
There's no spoilers.
All right. Okay.
Not showing.
Huh? Oh no, I took it off because I didn't want to spoil any Captain America.
I know. Whoever told you that this was spoiling anything is.
Well, skip ahead because I don't want to show Captain America footage. I don't want to get us in trouble. Trailers, I think, are legit to show because those are promotional materials. You know what I mean? Because YouTube copyright, man. I tell you what.
Whoa.
They're like
hardcore.
Come after. We don't want them
really
chasing
know where
Chris
this
down.
starts and the next ends.
It's pretty close. I'm pretty close to it. You're about there. Oh yeah, it's just after. Because surprise, somebody shows up at the end of. So this is the very.
Gee, who could it be?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Somebody shows up at the end of a Marvel movie and talks to somebody?
But who would it be?
That doesn't sound right.
All right, let's
do our
this.
All right, let's do it. Okay. Oh, that's Mars. All right, go.
Framing's really bad.
Oh. That's because of Gizmodo.
Yep. Wait.
You think you're the only hero in the world? Gentlemen, you're up.
Whoa. People freak the F out. May 2012.
Wow.
So what we
I had to
saw
go to the
is we
stream
saw...
to listen to that, and by the time I got to it, all I heard was the screaming, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, there's a lot of screaming. What we saw there is we saw some quick clips of like a round table kind of setup. We saw Thor. Iron Man.
Hawkeye.
Yep. And...
We know Captain America's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nick Fury, obviously.
So...
Jeremy Renner is playing... Looks like he's playing Hawkeye, and he was in Thor too.
Is he
getting his own movie? He's not, is he? He's just
I don't
gonna
think
be
so,
in this.
no.
Okay.
I'll try to remember to throw a link of that in the show notes.
Well,
too, so
we already know that the Hulk will be making an appearance in the movie. He's been cast.
Right. Not Edward Norton.
Not Edward
That's
Norton.
right. It wasn't.
They didn't get along.
Yeah.
I don't
That's too
remember
bad.
who off the top of my head. If the chat room remembers, I'd love to see that. I love the tagline, "Some assembly required."
That is pretty awesome.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. He'd make a good Hulk.
He's the new Hulk.
Nice. Now, we got a lot of stuff. So we got Spider-Man coming.
Yes.
We got a new
Yes.
Dark Knight coming.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now we know we get in 2012, May 2012, we've got a new Avengers movie coming.
Right.
Well,
and
and
a few hours, Captain America.
This weekend is San Diego Comic-Con, so probably next week's episode is going to have some more information about all
Oh,
of
yeah.
these different things.
Oh yeah.
And our watch along will be
Yeah.
a Captain America watch along.
Yes.
But I think we're ready to get to the watch along for this week's
Yeah, we
episode.
probably should. We've
Yeah.
just been blathering on.
All right, so it's time to talk about the assignment for last week was to watch Blade Runner, the final cut.
Right.
And Blade Runner was just recently voted. I think it was either our first or second episode after the reboot. I covered that list of the top sci-fi movies
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
Blade Runner was voted number 1.
Okay.
And we got a lot of comments from people saying, "Oh, I love Blade Runner," etc.
It's always been in the top 5 or 10. You know, any site that does
Yeah.
a top of sci-fi, it's always up there.
It's just a classic. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one you really have to watch.
So now let's go down the line. This is I don't know how many times I've watched the movie. Maybe twice before this. I've not watched it a lot, and
Yeah.
it's been a long
Yeah.
time.
It's probably about that. Same
I've
for
seen
me.
it probably 3 times. Always the theatrical release.
But Heather, this was your
I've
first. wasn't it?
never seen it before. I've never seen the original version. This was the only version that I've ever seen this week.
How does that happen?
So- what are your quick thoughts?
It was interesting. It was more of a psychological,
Yeah.
and I kind of like those. And then I started I watched it because I got all this, I found all this information about how it was different from the original, and so I just kind of copy and pasted with my eyes closed, watched it, and then I went back and I read, and I was like, huh, that would have been interesting if they would have kept that instead of doing this. And
Yeah. That's interesting you had that impression too, because there's a few things that they do tweak in the final cut that do mean, he goes, in one circumstance, he goes from calling a guy an effer to a father. So that is
Yeah.
a total change.
Yes, of everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's small little tweaks throughout it. Now, I think, Heather, you summed it up the best. Is this, I realized for this watching, is not a plot-driven movie. And it feels laborious at times, and it feels slow at times. But on repeat watchings, the universe is incredibly rich and incredibly textured.
It is. And there is a plot. I mean, he's going after the...
There's a
Well,
lot.
of course.
Yeah, he's going after him.
Yeah.
The Nexus 6 is the...
Well, I think what Chris is getting at is that it's not driven by the plot. The plot is what
No.
happens.
It's really what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Which is cool, and it's really kind of a... I mean, obviously, it's kind of like a film noir... A sci-fi film noir is really what it is.
Yeah.
And that's even more true on the theatrical release, which has kind of heavy-handed narration by Ford. And
I
Ford,
did not remember this at all.
Yeah, no, it's not the best thing. And rumor has, if I remember right, Ford was not happy about it either.
No,
'Cause it's
neither were the writers.
Yeah,
neither
yeah.
was
Ridley Scott.
Scott, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they were just didn't think people would get it. So it just really kind of spells it out for you. It's really kind of patronizing more than anything else. And watching it without it in this, it's way better. It's way stronger, and I think it works on a deeper level than just having things spelled out for you.
I can see all that, but man, this was boring. I've seen Blade Runner a couple times before. I remember kind of enjoying it before. I don't remember if it was the version, because they revamped this once before.
Yeah.
And I do remember watching it around
Several
that time.
times.
Yeah.
They've had
There's like 4
The director's cut. I think I watched
4 or
before.
5.
and there was a TV cut, and there was a theatrical only cut.
original
Something like
theatrical. And there's some kind
hard
of
deck
like
of cuts.
Yeah.
yeah. There's
And I'm
People mess
really
around with this
hoping that
movie.
this is honestly the final cut.
It's
because
supposed to
I
be.
think I'm done with this.
I got it on, I got it. I finally went and bought it on Blu-ray because it was supposed to be the final version.
Yeah.
So it better
Of course.
be. But, of course, until the next new format comes out.
Until the next final.
Yeah.
Now, despite saying that this movie was boring, it still was awesome to watch, especially the visual effects. And I know that they updated a lot of those for these cuts, so they probably weren't quite as impressive the first time around, but I do recall them being impressive.
Hey, I don't know how
they
many-
weren't that. They touched some stuff
Yeah,
up,
they
but
didn't
like
update
really
that
for the
much.
most part,
It's
it was pretty similar.
Like some of the optics are better, and some of the things, and like there's some new couple external shots and stuff. But for the most part, it's just about the same. This
looks
seems like
incredible.
This seems like a movie that you just got to be ready to get lost in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think so.
They
This
give
is
you
more
like
about thinking and talking about what's involved in it.
And also appreciating the level of thought that they had to give people. Like, there's people walking around with umbrella glow sticks, and I never, as a director, would ever think, how could I change up the? I would never think I want to make everything look different.
They totally sell those on Think Geek, by the way. Now.
Yeah, they do.
Awesome. It makes
See,
a ton of
I
sense.
saw those, and then I finally went, I totally get those now on Think Geek.
Yeah.
Now I get why they're so cool.
And Bilbo from our chat room owns one.
Awesome. So,
but basically, androids. They built androids. They're pretty human.
Replicants, yeah.
Replicants. I mean, they're androids, but they call them replicants. They built them. They were doing work. They revolted, and then it became illegal to own them
on Earth.
On Earth,
but in the outer colonies,
they're still around.
Well, and they get into some interesting
parts.
Yeah, and they get into some interesting psychological things. Like, in order to control them, we have to give them things to lose, like memories and feelings,
right,
and things like that, to give them something to. That's a fascinating thing. But again, it goes back to it seems like somebody sat in a tent and smoked a lot of peyote for like a month, and then just came up with like this entire universe and wrote it all down. And
it's Philip K. Dick. He was.
Oh my gosh.
He was a sci-fi genius, but he was a little crazy.
Have any of us read the original? I have not.
I have not. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is what it's loosely based on.
One of the first things I noticed was it opens with a close-up shot of, like, whose eye is that supposed to be?
I think it's Leon, one of the replicants.
Yeah, Leon. It is. I'm pretty sure it is
Leon's eye. Okay.
Yeah. So
the eyes are totally a theme throughout the whole thing.
Right, but they're redone. That opening eye is redone for this movie. It's
it was a still, I think, in the previous version.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's see. Any other Mars? Was there any other of these that you noted here that you thought were interesting changes they made? You got a whole. Heather went through and broke out a whole list of the changes.
I copy and pasted like
from
mad.
Wikipedia. Yeah,
it was a copy paste.
It's a nice consolidated list.
Thank you, Heather.
It's a good consolidated list.
Well, you had one highlighted here, Chris, about a new line added to the introduction.
Yeah,
Leon being able to lift 400.
Yeah, so they mentioned that one of the replicants, and I picked up on this. I was actually kind of surprised I caught it, because it's just been so long since I watched the original one, but he mentions the first replicant that they send Harrison Ford's character out to go after. They say, and he can pick up 400-pound atomic loads all day and all night.
Without getting tired.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
well, it says in the beginning that they are superior in strength and at least equal, or about equal in intelligence.
But 400-pound atomic loads, that's a real number that, like, for me this time around, I was like, oh yeah, they're much stronger.
Right.
Like, when you say a lot stronger, I think, like, they work out more.
Right.
I don't know. It was just...
we go to the gym a little bit.
It was just like they inserted one line of dialogue that completely changed the way I thought about the replicants. This is just an interesting example in this final cut, how they've kind of done that a little bit, I think.
But they still die.
They cleaned up a lot of the backgrounds in some of the wider shots, specifically in the final fight scene between Harrison Ford's character and the main replicant guy.
Rutger Hauer, is that?
Rutger Hauer, yeah.
Avatar
from Lady Hawk?
Avatar Continuum in our chat room, who runs an Avatar website, is making Blade Runner avatars if you want to get your Blade Runner on your
Awesome.
Let's check that out. Go check out the Avatar Continuum for that.
No, I don't recall this, but apparently parts of that final scene took place in a soundstage, and you could totally see the wall of the soundstage.
I was pretty into it. I never really noticed it before.
I didn't
but
catch
I'm sure.
that. But
there were some shadows of the crew that were visible.
Yeah.
And so they kind of went back and took out things like that.
Movie.
Well, come on. It was made in what, is it 82 it was made?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're that crew member that had the shadow, and you go home and you tell your kids watch right here. See that shadow?
No, they deleted it. No.
This is why they fired me.
Then you go back.
Oh, man.
Wait, see right there? That's where I'm not, apparently.
Yeah.
What happened?
My fame.
I'm gone.
He finally got cut.
You see, I had the guy from Deadwood in it too. As
the EB.
Yeah.
EB was in there, and he looked kind of.
He made those creepy toys that still creep me out.
Yeah.
The origami.
Yep, the origami. Don't you have one there behind you?
The origami was Edward James.
Yeah, that's Edward James
Olmos.
No, I'm talking about the creepy wind up.
Those
people.
things.
Yeah, that were
that's another
soldiers.
thing that I forgot to mention is
gesture.
Blade Runner has created a bunch of sci-fi sayings.
Yeah.
That you just kind of take for granted, home again, jiggity jig.
Yeah.
I
saw that and I was like, is that where that comes from?
That's where that came from. Wake up, it's time to die.
Yeah.
That's where that came from. And it's these little lines that...
It's a very influential movie, I would say, for a lot of sci-fi.
How young did Edward
he looks so young.
gosh.
compared to
Almost,
watching him in BSG.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Like I had to it was like the second or third scene that he came by, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Pause.
that's
Although
him.
It's funny that he
Blair,
was in this
go
movie
search.
about basically
I
Cylons.
was like, "Oh my gosh, oh my
Yeah.
gosh!" So I had to go back and look at each.
Yeah, that's probably how he auditioned for Battlestar. He's like, I've done Cylon stuff
Now,
before.
what about this whole? So in this, remind me where the disparity between this version is and the original version, where they imply that Harrison Ford is a replicant.
I think that implication was actually not in this version.
Okay, I thought
Yeah,
so.
and I thought
It
it
was
was.
in a
I thought it was
different
all commentary. From what I've.
I thought there was a scene where like there was dots
it's
on
a
his
very-
eyelid or something.
Has to do
Oh.
with the unicorn dream, I think.
Yeah, the unicorn.
Yeah.
What
It was
about
the
the
dream
unicorn
that he
dream?
would know.
I
That
don't know.
the unicorn was in his dream.
But he is a replicant based on that dream that we see.
I haven't listened to the
Ridley
commentary.
Scott says he's a replicant.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
Ridley-
he has like he starts having like what seemed would be implanted dreams about unicorns.
Yeah.
I like it
'Cause
being
how would he
ambiguous.
remember a
I don't. I
unicorn?
don't want anything like specifically said. I like it being
Yeah,
ambiguous.
I like it left unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because I was reading some article that said when it was filmed, Ridley Scott and Harrison Ford talked about it, and Harrison Ford was of the impression, and he liked the idea that the guy was human, that he wanted some human in the movie to be likable.
Right.
And he's like, no, I'm
Oh.
human. And he went and he played it, and it was like afterwards that Ridley Scott kind of went back and went, yeah, he's totally a replicant.
You know,
yeah.
you know,
yeah, and I
that's-
heard that Harrison Ford wasn't really happy about that.
Yeah,
because
Harrison
yeah,
Ford's
if
like,
you take
"Wait,
Harrison
what?
Ford out,
Huh?"
yeah, I don't like any human in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that could have been
They're-
a commentary that
they're
Ridley
not
was
nice
making.
guys.
Yeah.
Interesting. Any guys?
Except
Have
for the
any,
guy that makes the eyes.
you have any other thoughts on Blade Runner?
Oh, it's I'm
know,
sorry, you
it-
didn't like it. I think it's a great movie. And it
It's
is
not
kind of
that I didn't
slow.
like it. It's very slow. You have to understand that you're watching this for a reason, and that is not specifically to be entertained by a plot, by a movie. You're watching this for the experience of living in this world and experiencing a masterpiece of world building in terms of sci-fi.
I think there's still plot enough to
totally
enjoy
agree.
it, though. Like I would say that yes, it is mostly world concepts and just how it's done, just how it's completely, not completely, but mostly fleshed out. The whole universe and what's been happening. But I say that the performances are still there
Yeah.
and solid, and I think that there's.
I mean,
there's enough-
everybody seems like they're a little bit on Prozac, like they like a little bit too much Prozac. Everybody's a little too monotone sometimes for my liking. Like,
like kind of
at moments, it's just like,
as if they were replicants.
"Hi, how's it going? It's going well. I'm glad to hear that." a lot of, you know,
I don't know. There's some of that, yeah. But
Well,
it was.
you're
I mean,
right
a lot
though
of
in the sense
thought-provoking.
that
That's mostly what I got out of it.
I-
It was like the whole like really looking at things and looking at how they played, the eyes and, all the replicants had like the shiny eyes for some reason,
Yeah.
and
Open
eyes
your
being
mind
one
and
of the
enjoy the
soul
world
and
when
what
you
makes
watch this one.
human and
yeah, that was an
is-
interesting. What does make it human?
It's much more of an artistic endeavor, I think, than just a
Yeah.
movie to watch for movie's sake. It's not
Yes.
a popcorn flick. It's not a Transformers.
really.
It's not anything like that. You have
It's
to-
not a big blockbuster movie, if that's what I mean. No.
right.
But
some
it's
totally
good.
random things that I saw that were hilarious.
Yeah.
I remember he's going in and he's going out to his car and there's some little people running around his car speaking that little weird dialect. Totally thought Jawas. They're like speaking some weird language and they're trying to like steal stuff off the car as he's standing there. I'm like, did somebody just? Yeah, I was like, yeah. Where are the Jawas? It's like a little glowy eye. I assumed like a little hood and glowy eyes to pop up.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then
So-
like that one advertising lady who just kept putting a pill in her mouth.
Yeah.
I was like, what is she trying to hint to people to take the red pill or the blue pill?
Maybe.
Or just that you have to be drugged up to really enjoy this movie.
Maybe that would
Or
help.
that everyone in the world is drugged up.
It
Well,
did
it's
seem
definitely
like it.
dystopian. I mean, it's not supposed to be like.
Oh no,
very
it's not a
happy.
happy place.
Yeah.
Well, no, they've talked about the setting for this planet is that like one of the reasons that they started working with replicants was first for animals because like all of the wildlife on Earth has been ruined, has been
Yeah, it's
destroyed.
gone
Yeah.
extinct.
Like they
And
mention that
that
all the time.
owning an animal is a real animal is a sign of prestige. So
Right.
the next best thing you can do is get a fake one.
Even the really rich guy that like
As a
Tyrell.
fake owl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's-
totally fake.
Yeah,
and she
it's a
had that.
fake owl
Remember that
because
one
you can't
gal that
own
he
a
has
real
to.
one.
One gal he has to go after as a fake snake. He's like,
Yeah.
no,
Uh-huh.
you think I'm rich? That's just a regular snake.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
She's like, if I had a real snake, do you think I'd be working in a place like this?
Right.
Where's my see-through raincoat?
I think that. I think one
Because
thing.
it's totally camouflage.
Well, one thing to kind of that see-through raincoat is a perfect example of when she put it on. I'm like, that looks so stupid. But then when she starts to get shot, it gets very gruesome because it splatters inside
Yeah.
this transparent coat.
Yes.
It becomes much more visceral. That
And much more real. Like I think that's what's so cool about it is because she's replicant fine, but you just see that
she's
like
still dying.
it makes it more real.
That first
Yeah.
shot, and you're like, did he just shoot retire his first human.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and there's also when he shoots another one of the replicants. In the original version, it was just one shot, and then she freaks out and dies. But in this version, there's 3.
Yeah.
And he's like, as she's freaking out, he's
At
like,
the end.
bam, bam.
Which means
Put her down.
they must have had to shoot it that way because they didn't go back and refilm it. So
Right.
they just decided to cut it originally. Huh.
Well, I think those extra shots, and there were a couple other violent scenes that were put in the European version of the movie when it came out in theaters and were removed from the American version.
Yeah. Cleaned up a little.
The point where he puts a knife, a nail through his hand.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't actually go all the way through.
Right.
Until this version.
Oh,
and in the European version as well, apparently it did. I think. But that's just another example of something violent that they added back in.
That nail is another great scene. Like, it's like there's this whole chain of events that lead to the point where that nail's even available. And then he, like, reaches down and grabs the nail. It's like, they orchestrated 10 minutes worth of movie, and at the end of which he can grab that nail. It's like that they were thinking, I mean, of course they are for a movie, but it's so obvious.
It was like it was written out of it.
It was like they orchestrated the entire thing, you guys.
It was like it was scripted almost.
I was starting to think it wasn't live at all. Reality TV. So now next week's watch along, what's it called? I'm
Captain America, Chris.
No, the segment name. The segment's called
it's a moving picture.
Happy Fun
Time.
Mutual.
Yeah, it's about us.
Yeah.
All of us, I mean.
All of us.
That includes you.
Next week's assignment is to go watch Captain America,
listener.
so we can talk about Captain America.
Should we give a runners-up? What if they can't get to the theater?
Yeah.
Oh, well. We should have thought of that ahead of time, I guess.
Read about Captain America.
You can go watch the old television show, I guess.
We got to talk. I mean, we're still going to have a ton of stuff next week.
Yeah, we're talking about, just to be clear, everybody, we're talking about the movie from the 80s.
Yeah, no.
Oh, of course.
No, but we're going to have a ton of show. Well, so we'll save the Captain America stuff for the end of the show because we're going to have the we're
Comicon.
We're
going to have a lot of Comicon.
And by that point, we're going to pick the best stuff to talk about. So next week's episode is going to be packed full of goodies. So we'll cap it all off at the end with a Captain America review. And
Cap.
And if you watch it, join us live at 7 p.m. on Thursday over at Pacific, over at jblive.tv. Put your thoughts into that lower chat room third there. And also, if you're an audio listener, and we kind of have actually designed the show with the intention of people probably primarily downloading audio, let us know what you think of us running the trailers, and if you're okay with that. Because we'd like to keep doing that if you're okay with it.
You can still hear some stuff, except for the Fade to Black stuff.
Yeah, and the Avengers trailer, which is like almost no dialogue. It felt kind of bad. But it's, it's so hot and new. People are going to go see it tonight for Captain America, but we got to see it first, so there you go.
Yay.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Jupiter at Night, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Bye.
Goodbye.